This video for AQA Further Pure Mathematics, Algebra and Graphs, section 3.2, where we're looking at another of the conic sections, this time the ellipse. We saw in a previous video that the ellipse is one of the conic sections produced when the plane cuts the cone at an angle which is greater than 0, so not parallel to the base of the cone, but less than the slope of the cone itself. The general equation of the ellipse is x squared over a squared plus y squared over b squared is equal to 1. So here we've got an example where we've got a equal to 4 and b equal to 2. So our equation then is x squared over 16 is plus y squared over 4 equals 1. Now we can investigate the effect of different values of a and b on the shape of the ellipse by using a GeoGebra file. So here's the ellipse that we just referred to, where a is equal to 4 and b equal to 2. So just look at that carefully and you can see that the point at which the graph cuts the x-axis is 4, that's the value of a, and where it cuts the y-axis is 2, and that's the value of b. Now I can change a, and as it gets larger you can see that that point moves and is always equal to a. So if I now change b, then the point that it cuts the y-axis gets smaller or larger depending on the value of b. Now if I make a and b both exactly the same, so if I make them both equal to 4, then what we now have is a circle. And you can see the familiar equation where we had x squared over 16 plus y squared over 16 is equal to 1, which would have been the way of writing the ellipse. We can now multiply by 16 to give us x squared plus y squared equals 16, and that's the familiar equation. X squared plus y squared equals r squared. So really a circle is an ellipse where a and b are equal to each other. So if we're asked to sketch the graph of a particular ellipse, then the way to do it is to calculate the values of a and b. So here 2x squared plus y squared equals 16. If we divide through by 16, we get x squared over 8 plus y squared over 16 is equal to 1. So therefore a is equal to the square root of 8, which is 2 root 2, and b will be equal to the square root of 16, which is 4, and of course plus or minus those values. So that it cuts the x-axis at 2 root 2, which is just a little under 3, so approximately here, and cuts the y-axis at 4. So this is an ellipse which very roughly will follow this sort of curve, which is good enough for a sketch, but if you wanted anything more accurate then you could use a graph plotter on a computer or a calculator, and that's what I've done on the next slide. And there we are, you can see an accurate version of our ellipse, 2x squared plus y squared equals 16. Well, that's the end of this video looking at the ellipse, and in the next video we'll be looking at the hyperbola and rectangular hyperbola.